just read one piece from this first book, Christening the Dancer, and it's called Osip Mandelstam's Last Letter. And Mandelstam was probably familiar with his work, a Russian poet who was exiled in I want to say the 20s, and ended up dying in Siberia, but a very important Russian poet who was involved with Anna Akhmatova and several other people at that time, kind of I think sort of a St. Petersburg hub. And so Osip Mandelstam's Last Letter. Here, even fire gorged with wood burns low. Blue flames nip at the sky like wounded dogs. Every day we begin at the northernmost point of endurance, hiking like ghosts toward Kolyma. Afternoons of anemic silence, black nights spent shivering, listening to the screams of madmen. Petersburg seems more beautiful now than I thought it at the time. Spring days with Akhmatova and Nikolai, wine as endless as a child's wishes. Should you receive my letter, Nadezhda, think of me on the outskirts of Vladivostok, snow packing like a coma, my dreams still as dazzling as wildflowers. Oh God, Nadezhda, the sun is an old friend whose name I have forgotten. I wanted to say I really enjoy being in Chicago. I'm here 2 days, I guess, and today I really did some walking, just got lost kind of, which is the way to
do it.
You know, to really experience a place, and so it was cool. I was all over the place and walked along the lake and drove and panicked because I couldn't figure out where I was. Went up a one-way street and everybody looked at me and I flipped it around. So it was a great day. It's one of the great cities. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I'm going to go to a show. Got something tomorrow evening, but then I'm going to try to rush to this show. I think it's called Shuba's Pub or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. There's a band playing. I was looking in Time Out Chicago. And I was like, this band called Tongue that I really like, and it's like it'd be a little bit of a push, but I think I can get there. So anyway, looking forward to that. That said, I'm gonna. This is a piece called Gig, and it's from the latest collection that just came out, At the Threshold of Alchemy. This is a prose poem. There's several pieces in here. There's about 5 or 6, a series of prose poems, and this is dedicated to my friend Otis Hughes, who was in a band called Animal Bag in the 90s. They recorded with Mercury for a little while. We're in the desert, amps cranked. The press has arrived to document the debut of the Messiah. It's rumored that he will pick an untouchable to baptize him before he speaks of his travels in the Far East. He's coming. People start to whisper. Cameras are clicking. I hear his horse's hooves squishing in the sand. He winks at me as he passes, and I realize in a flash of omniscience that it couldn't matter less whether I fulfill my obligations. The fist in my gut releases. I throw down my guitar, a strand of feedback dangling in the wind. I walk slowly away from the fanfare, my bandmates joining me despite the event planner's threats and protestations. We don't stop walking until we reach the city. There we spend the rest of our money on fine food and wine. We sleep in soft beds. None of us plays another note after that day, and we all die decades later, happy.
Oh.
Last night I read this poem from my first book called Hiding, which is sort of all about basically that sort of family and family dysfunction and all that. And this poem is in the new book, and it's kind of the companion piece to it in a way, except it's what is it, 5 years later, I guess. So there's been some progress in terms of working through all that, you know. It doesn't sound like it until the very end of the poem, but then you get, oh, okay, yeah, maybe there's been some shift there. So this is called Enough is Enough. I remember those weeks before my mother passed, watching her binge on ice cream and chocolate, feet swollen, bowels bogged, silence and stillness, her arch nemesis. I realize now that she was simply a child sent to a boarding school too early, turned over to nuns who branded her with the crucifix, an orphan reared on broth and brimstone, pawned off by guardians to my father, 16 years her senior. It makes sense somehow that she would become an actress, a connoisseur, the quintessential hostess, but fast forward a decade or so, and it's what happened after the party ended, when the guests would leave, that I recall. Fathers drunken, jealousy erupting, their voices shrill, staccato, then mother wailing in the jasmine, dirt on her face, handfuls of hair in the moonlit grass. I spent my childhood running a gauntlet between house and lawn, engineering truces between mad giants, praying that we might get some sleep before the new light. On these August evenings, pulsing with fireflies, I still see Mother writhing by the boxwood with a corkscrew in her heart, Father pacing his overturned castle, shattering wine glasses on the patio. I'm pausing tonight to say I'm sick and weary of red washing my numbness with their blood. Valerie, Bill, I no longer need to keep your graves unmarked.
That's in this book.
Yeah.
I was reading it. Sorry, I don't want to get in. This in this one, and Jared Smith wrote awesome things about him on the back cover. I haven't gone, but you can read it, so if you're interested.
Right.
Check it out. Sorry.
No, it's fine.